Hello, Malban. Do you remember what I said yesterday about not doing another video about Galactic Studio Basic? Yeah, guess what? I lied again. This is another video about Galactic Studio Basic because I'm laying the finishing touches on the Basic. It occurred to me that I haven't shown you any of the current programming capabilities. Yeah, you sure program with a text editor just a basic file and save it to the SD card and put the SD card into the PiTrex and then load the basic program. That's not the big deal, but eventually you have to debug the program, and that there are two possibilities to do that. One possibility is to use a UART interface to the PiTrex. This is what I usually do. I can show you that. There are, it's not too bright, and I don't know if you can see that at all. Somewhere here, these cables, I soldered them to these GPIO pins. These are the UART pins, and if you connect such a, it's getting darker by the minute. If you connect such a tiny little thing, it's not too expensive, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks or something like that, and that goes out the USB port, and then you can connect a terminal to the serial interface. That's not everyone's favorite thing to solder something on the PiTrex, so by now I also support keyboards. A keyboard, there's a little USB interfaces on the Pi Zero. This one is mainly for power supply if you don't put it into the Vectrex, and the other one you can easily use for USB devices. The thing is, the keyboard is powered from the PiTrex with this setup, and the Vectrex cannot power very powerful things. Theoretically, you could put another hub in there and 10 hard disks or something like that, but that would probably damage the Vectrex. A normal keyboard is probably okay. I have not seen any failures, neither has Graham, so this works. The thing is, if you insert the PiTrex into the Vectrex, you insert it like this, and as you can see, or not so well see because it's dark, these connectors go right more or less into the Vectrex. You have to find a connector which fits into the PiTrex and also does not hinder the PiTrex to go into the Vectrex itself. So this is a little angled connector here, which I found, or I don't know who found it. I just bought it. Anyone in the PiTrex group found it, and I ordered it. So if you have such a tiny micro USB, and I have an adapter from tiny to not so tiny, and on the other end there's a keyboard. So you can actually connect a keyboard to the PiTrex, and the Galactic Studio Basic, and once I can insert this again into the Vectrex, it goes on. The Galactic Studio Basic is the first program that actually will support the keyboard. So this is what I'm going to show you now, how we can use the keyboard for some more or less online debugging of basic programs. Okay, I'm going to start the Basic. Soon I have to insert an own menu point for that, but I have not done that yet. So this is the first Basic program running. This is a menu programmed by Bob, and here is the keyboard, and if I press Ctrl+C, then you do break the program. And there you see already the command line, so to say, on the Vectrex. The number of lines displayed is configurable in the ini file. Also, it is configurable whether you want to use a Vectrex as an output device or the UART interface. I will generate global variables for that can be configured via the ini file. Anyway, there's no cursor blinking, but you can write down here. This is a font I use. It's a 5, the size of 5 font. It's pretty small. It's not so fantastic to work with, but that was the only font I had lying around which supports uppercase and lowercase letters. And as I found out, BASIC itself does not care about upper or lowercase, but the variables in the programs are case sensitive. And if you want to print out the variables, well, you better enter them case sensitive. Before I had configured this to only show uppercases, and then the font is okay. You can read it, but lowercase characters, well, they are made up from 4 pixels. It's sometimes a little bit hard to read, but it's better than nothing. So for now, this is how it works. Anyway, these are the is a basic command line. I configured it to have 20 lines. 20 lines, if they are full, is flickery, but usually you do not have a full display full of characters, so 20 lines seems to be okay. If it's too much for you, it is also configurable. You can only do 10 lines and then it probably won't flicker. You have some possibilities now in the command line here. First of all, you can certainly load other programs. So load mbof dot man bus loads another basic program. This is missile breakout invader of Bobs. You can run that program, and well, you can again break the program. Now you have the possibilities to if it's your own basic program, to look at the variables, look if they are okay, if they are not okay. So you can also print. I know frame rate is one variable. It should be 30. It's set in the, I don't know, 10th or 4th line of the program. So you can say print frame rate 30. I've on another screen, and if I find my mouse, I can show you that too. One moment. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it that? Yes. This is a source code of mbof, and somewhere up at the top there is this further on the top. Frame rate. Here you see the variable is declared as, do you see that? You don't know? No. Up there, the frame rate is declared. You can also print larger entities. You can see this is the message. No, I can't display the message because it never enters this if clause. I don't know what is a invader shapes 1. We can print that. Let's go back to the Vectrex. I can show you that, and it's really dark now, so I'm going to print, what was it called exactly? Invaders shapes 1. Nope. Invader shapes 1. Yeah. Okay. Print invader shape 1. I'm a little bit shapes. Oh. Print invader shapes 1. Okay, that was more complicated than I thought. But there you can see you can display whole entities, and the basic supports to print arrays and so on. So you can print anything you want. that is it's good. The editor, the command line is very limited. You can just write and do one backspace, and the backspace only works in the same line. I have not implemented a complete editor. The Galactic Studio Basic as such is not able to display your basic program anyway. I'm used to, with old basics that you can display the basic program running if you type list or something like that. Galactic Studio Basic does not have a list command. So you have to open an editor in your computer next to the Vectrex if you want to know what you are doing. But anyway, you can still run the program, then it continues where it left off. You can break again, you can step, single steps. You can steps, multi-steps, step 100. Then you see this is displaying for a short time. I'll run again. One moment. Then I want to show you another thing. Come on. Let's start. No. Okay, here. So we are now at line 263. We do one step further. You can set a breakpoint at line 263. This is a line we were before, and now the breakpoint is set. And if I run it again, then it will display probably one round. And if it's in line 263 again, it will break. You saw a little flicker there. This is the program running and now stopping at the breakpoint. So we have all these usual debug capabilities that you do have with a basic in a terminal. You can do from the Vectrex. It's, in my opinion, a little bit more immediate. It's a little bit flickery sometimes, but I think it's still okay, and I like the immediate feeling of the command line on the Vectrex, if I'm honest. So you cannot really program anything here, but because you do not have a save, a load, or a list command, what you can do theoretically is a program on the command line. So you can do something like, I don't know, for I equals 1 to 100. There you see, BASIC recognizes that the command is not finished because there's no next. Then it continues with the next line. So print Malban. So it still recognizes it's not finished. It still hasn't found a next. So we do next, and then it will print Malban 100 times. So you can run little basic programs, so to say. What's happening here? Little basic programs from the command line, but you cannot really program there. But if you want to know what the square root of 15 is or something like that, you can print it here. You can do that here too. Square root of 15. Then, and if I had the brackets right, 15. So it's 3.872984. Didn't you ever want to know that? Yes. Okay, this is again the last video about GSBASIC on the PiTrex, and I will pack up soon everything I have and release it. I have to write still a little bit documentation, but these command line options I showed you just I did today. And this is really the last thing I wanted to do for now with the basic. In my opinion, it's now a round package, and I really like the outcome. So I hope there will be some people who will actually use it and perhaps program some programs with it, either just running on the PiTrex with the new sound features, but hopefully also programs which can still be run on the Vectrex 32 cartridge, because I still like that very much. And Bob, thanks again for letting me do the port, and yeah, well, that's all for today. Goodbye.